What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 2 of the podcast, Comically Boston. I am Big Kim. I am your host. I'd like to welcome you guys back. If this is your first episode, go check out the last one. I know I had some technical difficulties recording last time. Hopefully we're not going to go through anything like that today, but we got some interesting things to talk about today. As far as sports go, not much news this last week between the Pats, Bruins, and Red Sox, but for the Celtics, we got some news that Danilo Gallinari, I'll say your name right one day, buddy. Danilo Gallinari, he's out with, I think it's a torn ACL or MCL, one of those knee joints, which I hate knee injuries and injuries in general. So just to see that shit is heartbreaking, especially because he's been a big Celtics fan his whole life, so he was really looking forward to playing this season. And I saw videos of him on Instagram, really putting in some extra off-season reps. And he was probably going to try and make this his best year in the league that he could possibly could do. And he was real happy to be a part of this team. So I read his little message that he sent out to the people. It was like a paragraph or two that he sent out on Instagram, and it's just heartbreaking. My condolences go out to him and his family. I hope he comes back, quickly and as healthily as possible, and he's back for the regular season and hopefully playoffs, because he's going to be a big piece of the team next year. I'd really like to see the Celtics and Jaylen Brown and that whole team do very well. So Jason Tatum threw out the first pitch the other night, threw a strike. Good for him. We all know 50 Cent's first strike. I don't know if you guys don't know, but look up 50 Cent. I think he's wearing a Mets jersey, so it's got to be at the Mets. Throwing out the opening pitch and, say that's home plate and throwing the pitch. You want it to go down home plate. 50 Cent was like, oh no, it's that way now. Oops, 50 Cent was the worst one I had ever seen. He threw a garbage pitch, but ever since 50 messed that up, everyone that throws a first pitch has to just be like, I hope I don't screw this up. I would just want to get it over the plate. I don't even care if it doesn't make it and bounces. As long as it goes straight, I'm cool. I just don't want to be the guy that throws it off to the right, hits the camera guy in the nuts. Oh God, Jesus Christ. That's what nobody wants, So it is what it is, but so, Gallinari, heal up quick, brother. Your ACL tear, no bueno. No bueno indeed. Last week, I was talking about shows that are coming out right now. She-Hulk. I never did the bonus episode on Friday because my buddy Langone, calling you out again, buddy. It's okay. He goes back to work tomorrow. He's been on maternity leave with his wife, or soon-to-be wife, his fiance, the mother of his child, beautiful Avery. She's adorable, so congratulations to them on the daughter. But Langone, come on, get over here and do the pod with me, would you? I miss you. But yeah, so I got Langone blowing me off. Danny Hines I talked to the other day about doing the pod. I don't know, Danny, you'll have to let me know, buddy. I don't know if he'll be interested, but hey, here we are, second Monday in a row, and I'm going to do the podcast at least, but I would like to get my closest buddies on here just to have somebody to bounce off ideas to and, have a laugh and something to talk about, somebody to talk about shit with. And also I want to send, sorry to my buddy Barnard, we were supposed to go golfing today, but it's a pouring day here on Labor Day, so happy Labor Day to all the people out there that are grinding. It's a rainy day here in Massachusetts, so I am chilling to my utmost and just trying to sink in Labor Day and just hang out, and it will be a good day. So here we go, round 2 of filming the pod. So here we are again. So I've been watching She-Hulk, I've been watching Raising Kanan, which is Power Book 3, and I've been watching the new House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon just came out with episode, I believe, 3 last night. And, this week's baddie of the week is Rhaenys Targaryen, and I don't know the girl's name in real life. Maybe I can look that up right here. I think her name is something look that up real quick. So her name is Millie Alcock. That's really her name, so don't don't yell at me, but she is playing young Rhaenys Targaryen. So that must mean there's another person that's going to play her older years. Because I really like how this show's going. Because it's not like it's Game of Thrones. Because I'm also rewatching that. Because I went through, you know, the 8 seasons of Game of Thrones. And there was so much. But I was just trying to watch it to get to the part where season 8 was coming out. So I didn't really, you know, pay as much close detail as I'm trying to the second time around. But the second time around, I watch something, I find that I'm not trying to figure out the story. You know, like when I watch something for the first time through, I'm trying to figure out where it's going, what's happening, where this might lead in the next episode, the next person, the next chapter, the next season. You know, so I'm always trying to think what's next, what's ahead. And so when I know what's ahead, and I know, like, technically, you know, like, I might not know every single detail of Game of Thrones, but I know where it ends up. I know the long night. I know that the you know, spoilers if anyone hasn't seen it, but that show's old enough. Friggin'. And so, Game of Thrones, I'm watching season 1 again. And, you know, spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen Game of Thrones, but I'm going to be talking some spoilers today about all this shit. So, Game of Thrones season 1, I think it's, you know, maybe even season like 7 or 8, but it's towards the end where you find out that Jon Snow, played by Kit Harington, is a Targaryen. I want to say he's Aegon Targaryen is his real name, but either way, you know, everyone's going to call him Jon Snow regardless. Even if he is a Targaryen, he's not like these other Targaryens, the blonde hair, you know, like, so he's got brown hair. He's, you know, he's King of the North, Jon Snow. You know, so I really like seeing young Jon Snow, but it's so crazy to see them young when they started in season 1, and then like season 8 where they're all adults. Like season 1, Arya Stark's like in real life probably 11, 10, 12, 13. You know, she's young as shit. In season 8, she's fucking. You know, so like it's creepy to think about when, like, especially if I'm gonna binge the show and watch it in like a 2-month span. You go from watching somebody be 11 to season 8, they're fucking. So it's like, whoa, anybody that watched the show when it came out, you know, they watched the characters grow up, but like, if you're just somebody that's binging it, they grow up quite quickly in the binge watch. So yeah, Baddie of the Week, Millie Alcock, good for you. She's playing a badass character in Rhaenys Targaryen, the young Rhaenys, because apparently she's not going to be playing for the whole season. I think they switch halfway through. But like Game of Thrones, they went episode by episode, and, you know, just continued the story from episode 1 all the way to episode 8. There wasn't really any big time jumps in between. This show is, you know, episode 1 happened, and then episode 2 happened, and then between episode 2 and 3, it's like 2 or 3 years goes by, and the king has remarried. The king has now married Rhaenys' best friend, Alicent Hightower, which is also the daughter of the Hand of the King. It's some wild shit if you understand the show. If you don't, you're just like, what's going on? I'm sorry, but Game of Thrones is some wild shit. And this new House of the Dragon show is even better, because so now in episode, you know, the 2 or 3 years has passed. Episode 3, Rhaenys is like upset because she thinks her now new younger brother is gonna be coming into his, you know, he's 2 years old now, so he might be named the king's new heir. But the king doesn't want to do that. The king really wants Rhaenys to be the new queen, or like the next queen. And she's just like, no, you're having kids, you're just trying to replace me. And now she has to, like, so he had to marry to now have a new heir. She has to marry to now progress the kingdom. So like, she has to marry, say, a Lannister or somebody with, you know, so she has to marry for politics. She has to marry to strengthen her household. So she has to, like, the king was supposed to marry the 12-year-old girl the last week, and, you know, the poor girl was just doing what her father was telling her to do. But like, the king was all grossed out. He's like, what did your mother tell you? And the daughter, like, 12-year-old girl looks up and goes, My mother said I wouldn't have to bed you until I was 14. Oh god. But like, so like this older man has to marry like a 12-year-old, and I guess that's how it was like when for kings and, you know, royal families back in the day. But that's still creepy as hell, you know, like it doesn't make it not creepy as hell. So but oof. Luckily the king was grossed out about the 12-year-old, and he really had the eyes for Miss Alicent Hightower. But so now Rhaenyra's new stepmom used to be her best friend, and they're not really close anymore because of now she's with the father. But like, I saw a meme on Twitter, oh god, it was like when you're hooking up with a new guy but you can't tell your best friend because it's their dad, and it's like, oh god, these women out here be scandalous, especially if that shit be happening in real life. Like, ooh, fuck. And you can't even tell me it doesn't. There's women out there doing some shicey shit. But so Miss Rhaenys, the beautiful Rhaenys, has to go and she has to marry to progress her family, and maybe marry a Lannister or somebody that will progress the household. But the father just wants her to be happy, and their relationship's struggling because he's a king and she's, you know, princess now. So it's like, and her mother's gone and dead, so it's like, oh god, he's remarrying, he's doing shit. So like, their relationship's real complicated at the moment, and then he wants her to remarry and wants her to be a princess and be pregnant and having lords and, you know, knights and daughters and sons, and she doesn't want to do any of that. She just wants to fight and hunt and ride dragons and be a badass woman, which power to her. She should be a soldier if that's what she wants to do. She's, you know, she's a lot like Daenerys because she's a Targaryen, but she's a lot like Arya Stark, you know, where she doesn't really want to be a queen. She wants to be a soldier. She wants to carry a sword, and she wants to kill shit. Like, but I hope we see that side of Rhaenys, and she gets more crazy and more killing people and killing things and wants to be a badass and like. But I love to see a strong woman character. There's people that are on Twitter and on, you know, IMDb reviewing shit for She-Hulk and all shows that have like women roles, and like it's like 30-40-year-old men that are like so upset, and they're like, we refuse to watch, and it's like, dude, just don't watch. If you don't want to see a woman in a lead role, don't watch. Frankly, I would like to see more of it. That shit's awesome, you know. Like, we've seen men be lead roles for fucking years, and like, granted, if I see Denzel Washington in a lead role in something, I'm probably gonna watch it. But like, you know, like Oscar Isaac in Moon Knight, he was, you know, I didn't care how Moon Knight was gonna be. I was gonna watch that because Oscar Isaac's a great actor to me, you know. So, but you know, I'm watching She-Hulk now, and Tatiana Maslany is like one of my new favorite actresses because how great she is, and she's hilarious, and she's just killing it. Last week they had the post-credit scene for episode 3 of She-Hulk had Meg the Stallion twerking, so now Megan the Stallion is MCU canon. Like, what a world we're living in the Wong cinematic universe. No, the Marvel cinematic universe. It's feeling more and more like the Wong cinematic universe these days. The more and more shit he pops up in. What else? What's next? Can't wait for episode 4 of She-Hulk. Can't wait for episode 4 of House of the Dragon. Can't wait for episode 5 of Raising Kanan. I think that was 4. But Raising Kanan is just getting great. Maybe I'll talk more about that one next week. I think I'm going to spend most of the time talking about House of the Dragon today. But yeah, so I really like this episode because of the time lapse that happens. So most of this episode, you're kind of sitting back and you're just kind of trying to figure it out. Like, you're trying to just listen to the dialogue and listen to the characters fill in the gaps for us as an audience. So as an audience, you sit there and you just like take it all in and try and fill in the pieces, what happened over the last 2 years, or 2 or 3 years. He got married to Allison, she had a baby, she's pregnant with the second one, so like, she's already like, you know, things are already along. They already have a 2-year-old and she's pregnant with baby number 2. She's married to the king, she's now queen, you know, she's now Your Grace, Alicent Hightower, you know, so that's some wild shit. And Daemon Targaryen has been battling the crab feeders. something like that. And so Damon has this badass scene where, you know, he's been flying around burning fucking people, burning the crab feeders or whatever they're called, and they're trying to get the leader. You know, they're trying to kill these motherfuckers and take them out. And it's been 2-3 years they've been battling, and every time that they show up and burn the people outside, you know, outside these caves, they keep running back into the caves, and, you know, they retreat, and then they fire arrows at them from the ridge. So it's like, with the amount of people that Damon had in the one dragon that he has, he can't defeat them the way he wants to, as quickly as he wants to. So he goes back, and he's like, they're really struggling. You know, tempers are high, they're starting to flare, and Viserys, the king, finally sends a message to Damon saying, "Hey, I'm sending help, support for you and your people. I'm gonna send," I think he sends like 20 or 30 ships and like 1,000, 2,000 troops or something like that. But like, he could have just sent Rhaenys or like a couple of dragons, you know, burn everything to the ground. But that's not what the king wants to do, because he doesn't want to necessarily create war. But, you know, the war's already happened with Damon. So like, he's sending Damon help now, and now Damon doesn't want the help, and he gets pissed, and he starts fighting the squire that brought him the message, and he ends up getting in a boat and just sails over there himself. He's on a suicide mission. He's like, I don't even care. He could have flown over, but he chose not to. So he boats over, paddles over, he gets to the beach, and he's got archers up on the ridge, and he shows up on the beach and just starts, bam, like a suicide run. Takes out probably 10 to 15 guys on the suicide run while getting arrows shot at him. So it's like, he's supposed to die at every corner. You know, it looks like he's gonna die at every corner, and he's killing people, and he just keeps surviving, and he's just being a badass knight, for as far as I'm concerned. He is a true warrior and soldier, and he just crosses battlefield, and then finally takes two arrows, I think, to the chest, and then like one in the leg or something, and he just rips one out, and 2 out of the chest. He slowly either chops off to, like, you know, because they're not coming out, or like he finally pulls them out. But I think 2 of them are through his armor, one of them is just in his leg. The one in the leg I know for sure he pulls out, but he doesn't die. He gets back to his feet, and finally he gets back to his feet, and the rest of the troops, you know, the rest of the, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but the black guy, the only black guy in this show with white Targaryen hair, and he's from like the Seahorse clan or something like that. I'm sorry, I'm not like fully versed in the show, but I have been watching it, so but the poor black guy with white hair, he and the remaining of his troops run on, and I believe the Targaryen Viserys troops come on, and then the dragon comes back and starts burning the rest of them, and burns the archers on the ridge, and Damon goes into the friggin' caves, brings out the crab feet cut in half, dragging them on the ground, you know. So, and then I think it ends with just him standing on the beach with, you know, the half, you know, the cut in half crab eater, and then the black guy with the white hair looking at each other on the beach, and that's how it ends, I believe. But oh god, just the visceralness of the show, when they show just the violence and the blood, and just the people's arms getting cut off, and people cut in half, the blood, you know, you see the trail of blood, there's blood all over people, like, just the way that Game of Thrones and HBO does things, it's so vulgar and gory, and it makes it real, like, makes you feel real. Like, even though that dragons aren't real and this is fake history, it makes you look like you're watching history unfold, and for this universe at least. And I find that aspect of it really cool, especially that, you know, if you watch 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, this is what happens 200 years before. So, like, that's wild. And so I'm now watching season 1 again with the knowledge that I have from watching the 8 seasons. And I think it's episode 8 of season 1. All of a sudden, well, I think it's like episode 1 or 2 of season 1, you see Daenerys pick up the dragon eggs, and she doesn't burn her hands because she's a Targaryen. So that's like a Targaryen thing. They don't burn in fire, I guess. Or at least their hands don't. I'm guessing they would burn alive, but if they were lit on fire, or if a dragon burned them, but like, I guess they can touch fire and it doesn't, like, they're dragons, or like it was said that like they would go in bath water that's super hot and they just wouldn't feel it, like the heat, because their skin or something is like dragons and they like the hot. So Daenerys picks up the egg and burns her hand, and the maid runs in and goes, "My queen, what are you doing?" Hits her hands off, and the servant grabs the egg, and the servant, third degree burns on her hands. Now she's got bright red hands, burnt. Daenerys has no burns, but she's also like, kind of losing it for a second. And she was like, I think Daenerys ends up not having the Khal Drogo baby, and she ends up having a baby dragon at the end of season 1. And I'm about to watch the episode 10 of season 1, so I'm about to go into season 2, but in episode 8 of season 1, Jon Snow is at the wall, and he's defending White Walkers that are in the wall, and he's like defending, I think, his master or whatever, the head guy of the wall, which happens to be Jorah Mormont's father, which I didn't realize the first time around. I was like, oh shit, that's who his father was? So Jorah is the guy that ends up with Daenerys pretty much the whole show. And he's like, Ned Stark friggin' kicked him out of the land, so that's who that is. But Jon grabs a lantern, right? So he's trying to stab the White Walker with a regular knife, and it's not working. And the sword, I think, cuts off an arm or something and does well. But the thing, is a zombie, so it keeps running after him. So eventually he grabs a lantern, and the lantern's on fire. Old school lantern. He grabs the lantern and the glass breaks, and you can see the fire on his hand. He turns and throws it at the zombie. The thing goes up in flames, or the White Walker thing goes up in flames. They book it out the door, and they never talk about it again. But he never goes, "My hand's burnt." He's perfectly fine. So that is the first time in season 1, episode 8. That is the first time that you can find out who Jon Snow is, and that he's a Targaryen, and that he didn't burn, so that's how you know he has Targaryen blood. I gotta finish the show because I don't remember if Ned Stark was his father, or if it wasn't his father and he just kind of took him in, or if it was his father and his father hooked up with a Targaryen, and then that's how he's got Targaryen blood. But then that would make sense. But I'll let you know. I'll continue my rewatch of Game of Thrones and let you guys know how I make out. But yeah, so we talked Game of Thrones, Raising Kanan. We'll talk next week. Let me know if you guys have been watching Power. And for the people that don't know what Raising Kanan is from last week, or have never heard of it, there's a show on Starz called Power that had 6-7 seasons, whatever it was. That is a fantastic show. Then, 50 Cent created Power, and he stars in it as Kanan Stark. Then, Book 2, Ghosts. Power Book 2, Ghosts, continues Power, the story, just, pretty much is season 8 and 9 of Power. Just continues directly that story, that family, continues on. And the main character of Ghost is the main character Ghost from Power, is now his son Tariq is now the main character in Power Book 2. Power Book 3 is Raising Kanan, which is what's coming out right now, and it's great because it's set in the 90s, and Kanan's trying to figure out who his real father is, and if his mom's lying to him. His mom's trying to kill this fucking cop because she won't let anything happen to her son. And it's just a wild show, but it's also like gangsters and drugs, and that's a whole different type of show. That's not like Game of Thrones, or not like She-Hulk, but still shows violence, but not like as gory as you'd think. You know, there's times that can get gory where they, you know, axe a guy's head or shoot somebody through the head and they show the bullet or something, but like, it's not like Game of Thrones gore for sure. Getting arms cut off by swords, blood through the neck, or friggin' they're jousting in like the joust and the shield breaks and the shield goes in the guy's neck and the guy just dies in the middle of jousting. Like, whoa. Like, so I don't know about all that, but Raising Kanan is a great show. So that's Power Book 3, and then they have Power Book 4, Force, which is the continuation of Power, but the story of Tommy Egan, which is the white boy in Power. So his story in I couldn't remember his name in the first one, but his name is Joe Segura. No, not Segura. That's Tom Segura. No, on Power it's Joseph Sikora, like with a K, I think. Don't quote me, but either way, that guy's a great actor too. He was on Ozark. He gets his balls shot off on Ozark. Let me comment below if you guys seen Ozark. Maybe I'll talk about that next week. I'll write a little note for myself because Ozark's a great show. Oh man, and that just ended with Jason Bateman. I'm gonna talk about that one maybe next week. That one's great. Yeah, so we've been watching shows. She-Hulk's great too. She-Hulk might be better off to binge if you haven't started it yet. Maybe I'd wait if I hadn't seen any of the episodes yet and I wouldn't get anything spoiled for me. I might wait till the end and binge it and just watch all the shows at once because I think it's just worth it. And they're shorter episodes, like they're not 40, 50 minutes long. They're like more like 30 minutes. So, you know, there's 4 episodes out now, so that's 2 hours of show. But, you know, that's not including credits in the previously ons at the beginning. So there's just like, you could binge watch them pretty quick. And they're just like good watches. Like, they're not like so great that like I'm saying you need to watch this show, but it's not bad enough that you shouldn't watch it. You know, like it's just a great like sit down Marvel show, and it's not like it's got huge world ending stakes where somebody's gonna die and somebody's gonna friggin' end the world, or there's nothing like that. And there's nothing like Iron Man or like, you know, lasers or some big superpowers. Like, it's really just like a woman Hulk in the way they describe it, and she's just way better than Hulk could ever have been. So, you know, and Hulk's one of my favorite characters, so for me to say that's crazy. But She-Hulk is here to stay, I think, and she will be a great addition to the MCU, and Tatiana Maslany playing her is just perfect grade A casting once again. So good for them. So I've talked shows, talked sports. Baddie of the Week's Ray Neese. So, or Millie Alcock, I'll put a picture. Bang. From Game of Thrones, this is the picture of it. So yeah, she's Baddie of the Week. I don't know if she's age appropriate. She might be in real life, but in the show, she's like 15, 16, like well, she's supposed to be, but like, we're not gonna get into it. She's a beautiful woman, great actress, good for her. She's our Baddie of the Week, just because, frankly, I haven't seen anybody else. So, I'm gonna give you the podcast of the week to go watch. Two Bears, One Cave is Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer's podcast, and that comes out every Monday. And their podcast is one of those podcasts, if I need like a laugh, or if I just need like an hour to distract myself, or like just something to listen to for an hour in the background while I do something else, like I'll listen to their pod maybe when I edit this video. So I'll be editing the video and listening to something else, and so I'll listen to their podcast, and they're just like two comedians, so it's always going to be funny, but they're also best friends. So they talk about real life situations, they talk about their families, they talk about being on tour, they talk about, you know, being greedy and they got money to spend, so now they're talking, not greedy, but they talk like Oop. Sorry folks, I think I reached the max time on that last one, so I'll be wrapping this up here fairly shortly. But so I was talking about Two Bears. So Two Bears, One Cave on, which is, I think, a play on Two Girls, One Cup. Nice job, Bert. I think he came up with the name, but but Tom and him are like best friends, and they're just like, they're too funny, and they're both great stand-ups. I've never seen Bert. I've seen his stand-up on like Netflix, and I've seen his show The Cabin on Netflix, which is hilarious. Go check that out if you haven't seen him. But I've seen Tom live stand-up, and Tom is just so funny. But what Tom does that's great, him and his wife have the Your Mom's House podcast, and they like have created an audience, and they create inside jokes with their audience. So like, you could go on to Garth Brooks, completely unrelated but kind of related. You could go on Garth Brooks' Instagram page and just go to any one of his posts and scroll the comments and tell me if you see "Where's the Bodies, G?" "Touch Me Through the Fence, G?" "Where are the bodies buried, Garth?" "Unblock Tom, Garth." Like, there's so many things that Tom and Christina have done. And they're just comedians. They're just having fun. They're just making jokes, having a good time. But they're messing with this guy that's like this massive country singer selling out arena tours, and they're actually making a pretty compelling case in their videos that Garth Brooks might have murdered people, and that there's bodies somehow in a basement somewhere or buried somewhere. Who knows? But as far as Tom Segura has told me, Garth Brooks is a bad guy, and I believe him. I'm not even gonna fact check it. I don't listen to country music, so I don't care about him at all. So, yeah, fuck him. And if you like country music, fuck you. And if that hurts your feelings, good for you, because country music's garbage. And if you can't be told that it's garbage, then you don't know that it's garbage, and it should never be listened to. Except for that one song, "Wagon Wheel" by Darius Rucker. You know what I'm talking about. Rock me, mama, mama, hey, mama, rock me. Fucking pussies. Grab a beer, go to a tailgate. If you want to fucking, right? I've been to like 4 or 5 concerts in my life, and 3 of them were country, and the only reason I went was because that there was a tailgate, and we got shit-faced, and that's why we were supposed to be there, getting shit-faced going to a country concert. Nowadays, I don't even drink, so what's the point for me to go to a country concert? That's right, there is no point, and I will never go to a country concert. Don't invite me. I'd rather go to a comedy show, or frankly, stay home, because that doesn't sound fun either way, going out. But frankly, I'd go out if the people that I wanted to go out with wanted to be out and having a good time. But most of the people you go out with just get belligerent drunk, and then they just sitting there drunk. So what's the point of that? I don't see the point of that either. So that is what it is. Ooh, video game review. So I just got done probably a 2 or 3 week, maybe even like a month long, it took me to complete this game, which I love. I hate when you start a game that has a campaign and you can finish it in like 2 hours. Like, that just seems pointless. Like, what like, you spend $60 on a game. You want to be able to play it for a good bit, especially if you're someone like me. Like, I'm not really an online mode type of guy. Like, I'm not getting 2K, like the new 2K NBA 2K comes out soon. I'm not going to get NBA 2K for the park. Like, there's some people that get that game strictly to play online mode with other people, their friends. I'm not really like that. I play video games to pass some time, to fill a gap of time before bed or something, or before I have to go watch a show, before I'm leaving somewhere, if I'm trying to relax or something. Like, I'm not just gaming all day every day for no reason. I'm not gaming with my buddies necessarily. Like, I will play those modes, but most of the time, if I'm playing 2K or something, I'm going to play career mode. I'm going to play the solo modes. So it sucks when games like that, like, really only accommodate the multiplayer stuff. So I'm here for the solo games, really. So I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima. I'll put the title picture here or something. Ghost of Tsushima is a fantastic game. Maybe I'll put a bunch of pictures of like, maybe I can find gorgeous pictures of Ghost of Tsushima up online. But they're like the visuals in this game. It's an open world game, and you play as a samurai. You play as Jin Sakai of the Sakai clan, and it's got to be set 1700s or something like that, because they're fighting a descendant of Genghis Khan, and they're fighting off Mongols. And Mongols have invaded Japan in the island of Tsushima, and so they have to go. So they take over pretty much everything. So this map is massive, and you have a horse, and luckily you're able to fast travel, because at a certain point in the game, once you've traveled the map and there's shit to do, and they want you to cover great distances, you can like do the whole mission in a couple seconds rather than 40 minutes of a horseback ride across the friggin' thing. I did it a couple times without knowing fast travel was a thing. And you're on a horse forever, just riding and riding and riding, and you're like, why is this taking so long? You look at the map and it's like, oh, I'm here, I have to go here, and I can fast travel to something right next to it. So it's like fast travel, and then it takes 1 second to get there. So much easier, but when you don't know there's fast travel, you end up getting screwed. But Ghost of Tsushima, though, is such a, like, the story's great, the visuals are great, and apparently it's a PS4 game. I never got it on PS4, I waited till I got a PS5 to get it, and playing it on the PS5, it plays well, like, it has, like, a bunch of controls, like, a bunch of attacks and different things to do, but it doesn't feel, like, clunky, it doesn't feel like you're screwing up. It feels very much so that you can play seamlessly through the different attack modes, because there's like there's different stances, because you're a samurai. You can you fight above the head, you can fight two hands, you can fight, I think it's like one over here or like one up here or something like that, one up out in front of you, and they're like bah, bah, bah. But the sword making or the sword like fighting in it is awesome. And then like the customization of the game, you can get different outfits and customize them different colors, and there's even like all the mini missions, like all the side missions. There's like Fox's Den, and there's like write a haiku, and then there's like hot spring, and every hot spring is like just like basically an outdoor jacuzzi, but it's like a man-made, like a life-made jacuzzi, and it's a hot spring in Japan. There's like a bonsai like blossom tree over it, and petals are flying. Like everywhere you go, the wind guides you. Like there's no waypoint, it's wind. You follow the wind, you head towards the wind, the direction that it's blowing, which is just like great. Like, because imagine like just hearing turn left or turn right, like turn right at the fork, like it wouldn't make sense, like especially in old games. So it's like, where do you have to go? Oh, I have to go, it says 500 meters that way, but you swipe up on the little D-pad and it blows wind in the direction that you're supposed to be going. So if it says 500 and you could go up the road and go this way, you could, or it will tell you the direct line that you can go in with the wind and just run that way. Go through the trees, go up through everything. I promise you'll get to it. Just follow the wind. Awesome. It's just an awesome game, and the story feels great. And I want to say that there's parts in the story that you like make decisions, and it will change the way your story ends up. So like there's at one point I think you can like kill somebody or you can leave them alive, and I want to go back and play this game again, and see if it changes. I would be curious, but it is a fantastic game. I highly recommend it. It's on the PS5 store. It was on sale when I bought it. Go buy it yourself if you're interested in a good like solo game, and just a game that has a main mission and then has side missions that are like the main story, and then has like little like question mark missions that are mystery missions. And a game that goes through so much detail to make it feel like you should do the little detail ones. Like like I'm normally just play the main story, play the main side, the mini side missions, and then that's it. But if you can go through and do all the little side quest missions, that's a game that's worth it, you know. And like all the little foxes den, you know, honor the shrine of the fox, find the top of this, like you have to scale a mountain, and like the bridge is cut off at a certain point, so you have to do like parkour around the mountain to get up to like the peak, and then honor the shrine at the top of the mountain. And at the top always is like a house that you honor. It's like a shrine, but then there's a giant beautiful tree and like beautiful views. Like the whole game, like as I was playing it, I was like, damn, I would love to go to Japan and ride a horse around. Like, this looks like the shit. Like, oh, even just thinking about it now, I'm like, damn, I gotta go play Ghost of Tsushima again. I gotta go ride that fucking horse. I gotta go figure that shit out again. Like just what a great story. Like, and I heard that they were making a movie adaptation off of that game. Which, if that's true, oh, I cannot wait for that to come out. Oh, that looks so good. Oof. Yeah. So, that's what I gotta say on Ghost of Tsushima. You heard what I had to say on She-Hulk, Raising Kanan, House of the Dragon. More updates on those next week. Another Monday down. Hopefully this audio is good for you guys. If there's any ways you guys know at home, maybe you guys have more information on things that I could do to upgrade the quality of this. You know, I know I should get mics or something, but I think this should be the setup. You know, maybe I can have a boy here set up over there. I think I just need like a tripod, and I need mics and maybe a better camera. Maybe I gotta figure out how to use my iPhone. Maybe that will work better. But oh wow, my mother's in Paris. I don't know if you guys can see that. She just sent me this picture. The Eiffel Tower. She just took that. So I don't know if she, yeah, it's a live photo, so it looks like she took it. This is a great photo, man. She's in Paris right now. She went overseas without me. Screw you, Mom. Should have took me, but that's a cool pic. Good for you. Yeah, I shall go to Paris without you one day. How about that? Take a beautiful woman, not you, and make her life special. Garbage. Alright, before I get salty, let me wrap this up, say what else I gotta say. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you're new. I appreciate you. Share this podcast with a friend. Comment below if you've been watching Raising Kanan, She-Hulk, or any of the other shows that I mentioned. Yeah, and that's it for this one. Peace out, y'all. I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys have been enjoying these. I've been enjoying talking and making them and just living life, you know. I'm just trying to be me. And like the art of the individual is being lost, and I'm just trying to progress, you know. I'm just trying to do things I like and just keep doing the things I like and just talk about the shit I'm into, and maybe you guys are into it too. So that's it from me. I'm Big Cam. Follow me. My links will be in the description below. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. If you just search BIGGCAM pretty much anywhere, I'm pretty sure you'll find me. But it's Big Cam YouTube on Twitter, and it's Big Cam 12 on Instagram. And I'll see you guys next Monday. Peace out, y'all. Happy Labor Day.